we just did something, and I'll be doing something later this week as it relates to Paris. I think as it relates to the issue of Syrian refugees, we passed a resolution, and I spoke to this at City Council. We welcome the refugees here. You know, my grandfather was a refugee from pogroms in Eastern Europe. I don't think America's finest hour was when it turned the St. Louis boat with Jewish kids away. Its finest hours. I don't think when we suspended habeas corpus, we were doing great. I don't think when we had the Alien Sedition Act or the Japanese internment. And at every point we knew that those were wrong because they weren't consistent with who we are. And we operate best when we operate consistent with our values. And I gotta be honest, think about this. The grandson of a Jewish immigrant fleeing the pogroms is now the mayor of the city. I think that's our strength as a city. I think that's our strength as a country. And I think, this Wednesday, with the Catholic Church and other aldermen, we're going to be serving Thanksgiving dinner to Syrian refugee families in this city. Because I want them to know that we are a welcoming city, not just in words, but in deeds. And I'd say, I don't know if this will get me in trouble, but what is the difference between that young child of a Syrian refugee who's called Muhammad and a Jewish boy on the St. Louis boat in 1938 who was called Moses? What's the difference between Ishmael or Israel? And I don't think, I grew up in a home where Roosevelt was revered, and my grandfather's probably rolling over in his grave right about now. That was not America's finest hour. And so I do think being a welcoming city in all its aspiration, while you could talk to people's fears, and I understand, and you have to respond to that, and we do that every day, you also have to respond as a city to what our values are. And if we did not, we have families here today, 13 families in Chicago. I think we'll be a better city if those families came here, that they know that they can give their children a chance at a tomorrow that's better, in the same way that Chicago provided my grandfather the chance to give his kids, himself, and then therefore his grandchildren, a chance at a better tomorrow. That's how you take a challenge and make it an opportunity to be a better and stronger city.